Uh-huh. I wonder. How about now? Is it just Janet? I turned off the Wi-Fi. Let's see if that makes a difference. It's up to you guys to let me know that we can start. I'll start slowly. Good. Okay, cool. Let's take it that now we're starting. This is the Flood of Paris walk. The Creux, that's the word for flood. Janvier is the word for January. 1910 is obviously the year 1910. Okay, great. It was fuzzy because I hadn't turned off the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi has a habit of just jumping back on. Where we're standing is in the 12th arrondissement. We're about to walk and cycle all the way, maybe to the 7th, depending on how this goes. That's the Coulee Vert, the Promenade Pontée, the old walkway. There used to be trains going over there. This is the first flood marker. We start here because, partly because I live in the 12th, but this is a cool one. This people are going to walk past and you'll see how high the water got right here. Almost as tall as an adult. So for you guys, just getting the clear picture, these are the signs we're looking out for today. This is the bike I'm going to be cycling on. This are printed postcards showing the flood so that we can compare it. Now, typical. Standing in broken glass. The reason I brought a bicycle is because we've got a lot of ground to cover, and I think we'll be able to do it way better on a bike. So, plus then we can do a cycle show. Never been done. I got a rain jacket, I got an umbrella, I even got earpods, so that if the sound gets choppy around the river perhaps, you'll be able to hear me a little clearer. And as usual, I can answer all your questions as we go. You've just got to put them in the chat. So the street that we started on, I know some of you guys like playing along at home. Rue Traversière. Rue Traversière in the 12th arrondissement, which was an area that got really flooded. We're really close to the Seine. If you were to turn left at these traffic lights, you'd probably be able to walk there in about 5 minutes. So in a sense, we're really close to the Seine. In another sense, we're really far from the Seine to consider that it flooded, because I talked about it on the podcast, the most recent podcast. The flood, it wasn't just the Seine overspilling, but it was coming up from the Seine through the sewers and through the metro, and therefore spilling out into all kinds of unusual parts of town. The second marker is a different kind of marker. It's another one we'll be seeing a little bit of. And it's at the bottom of this entry to the Coulee Vert. So, if you've never been on this bit of Paris, you must come down to the 12th, walk up any of the stairs along. I'll show you the stairs now. You get up to the old train line that has been turned into this beautiful green walkway. We're not going to do it today. I'm going to do it soon on a video. Today we're just going to look at the markers. I'll jump off the bike for this bit. Luckily, I've done this walk already, so I know everywhere to stop. So this is the other kind of marker that you see. 1910, the highest water known of the Seine River. It might seem like it's quite low. Let's sit. Hello? Okay, wait, merci. Okay, someone told me to be careful with my bag because it could get stolen. Maybe that says something about the 12th as well. But this is the entryway. This is the entryway to the Coulee Vert, up that way. And what I've done, I'm going to cross the road for this one. This street here, Rue Rollin, Avenue Rue Rollin. Let's stop right over here. This is where we get the first of you guys seeing how prepared I am for this walk. Okay, check this out. So first, this is the same bridge that we're looking at. I'll try and cross to show you exactly. That church steeple, you can kind of see it at the top there. And the water was, let's do it, ready? I think this is where the picture was taken. So the kind of checks out. It checks out perfectly with the level of the water. This would have been just off to the left, the entryway to this. It would have been a train line at the time too. There would have just been trains going over the top of this, not a beautiful covered pathway. And then on the back, oh, look how prepared I am. This, you see at the top there, these old postcards say where they are. L'Avenue Ledru-Rollin, which is the same name as this street, and people on boats going along. I don't know, I assume this is taken from a little bit further down the street, but a lot of these old pictures, and I put a link to more of these old postcards in the description below. You can find a bunch of these online. Paris, les inondations de janvier. It could be inondation of 1910. So now, this is why I plan to bring a bike, because for the next bit, for the next bit, I was thinking if I had to walk this, it'd be the most boring part of the walk, because it's a little way to the next marker, which is kind of my favorite. But on a bicycle, we get there in about 2 minutes. It might be a little windy, but that's the price of getting there quick. And this, I'll talk about it on the way, on my right, this is the viaduct. I've featured this on the show recently. They've got all these different shops on the inside. Look, this is, they're making some kind of glass atelier de création, framing shop. This is where I featured the guys at the chocolate shop, and the gin distillery are further down along this viaduct. If you're watching this and you don't know about the podcast, you're getting not even a tenth of the picture, I'd say, because that's where I do these interviews with these interesting people. Every now and again, we will go through a red light. Don't panic, I live here. That doesn't mean to say, I actually did a walking tour recently with, I think it was me and Charlotte and Amber. We're taking 45 16-year-olds around, and I learned very quickly that not everybody knows red lights mean stop. So if you're in Paris and you're not sure of, I don't know, the way that the road, the traffic direction, the speed at which it changes from red to green, etc., be careful. Don't worry, nothing bad happened. Bit of a shock though. Here we go. So we're cycling towards the Bassin de l'Arsenal, the Arsenal Basin, where the canal Saint-Martin meets the Seine River. We're going to go down there, and I think I've talked about this recently. I maybe have showed it on the video for Patreon members, but I don't think I've taken everybody down there. So let's do it. The water is just over the edge. The other thing is, all around here would have been flooded, so it wouldn't surprise me if we see more markers. If you guys see one that I'm walking or cycling past, you let me know and I'll stop. And I'm planning to sort of park the bike up and walk at a few of these places and keep a closer eye on the comments and stuff. But while we're just cycling between them, let's just get there. So we're really close to the Seine now and close to the canal. How many of you guys watching have been here before? These guys should be stopping for us. I'll walk. So before I go over the edge, let's take a look at what we're dealing with here. Park the bike. Janet hasn't been to this area, but she'll be here in September. It's really lovely for a walk. We're gonna go down here now, but just to give you the sort of overview of it, we'll go through that tunnel now, and that leads out to the Seine. Oops. And if you walk this way, you get up to the canal. Well, this is the canal. Technically, this is the basin before the canal. But this is, I think this is really lovely. I think I said this is one of the top walks that you can do in Paris, is to walk from Bastille, which you can see up in the distance. You see there? Let's see if I can zoom in. That's the Bastille. And you can walk down some steps from right there to get down along this walk. Luckily for me, downhill on a bike. So a few of you guys have been here. Amy, we took a boat tour last year. that left from Arsenal and then went down the Seine. I wonder, I've been curious about the boat trips that start here. You have to wait for the lock to get out. And I wonder if they time it specifically or if there's just like someone there that you give the nod to and they let you straight out. By the way, this is really curious. One of the very few windmills in Paris that isn't in Montmartre. Look at this, lovely. You can hear the music from Bastille right now. And lots of really lovely boats. Another reason it's totally worth walking along here. Just checking out some of these boats. And look, beautiful cobblestones. This is where I did the boat ride. I didn't start here like Amy did, but the boat is moored here. I've seen it a bunch. Corto, le bateau français. And that's like a small, beautiful kind of Venetian looking, not a speedboat, but it's quick. And like a really sleek one, wooden boat. I can recommend that one, although it's for special occasions. It isn't like a 10 euro bateau mouche. Okay, here we go. Lucky I got a stabilizer, because the cobblestones have begun. Gosh, wouldn't it be funny if I were to fall in the water? I could see the funny side of it. So there are a few cars parked in front of where we're going to stop next, but that won't stop us. In fact, if anything, it gives us a nice reference point for how deep this water was. So I tried to find some old postcards of this place, and it was hard, and I suspect that maybe I don't know, maybe it looked different, or was different, or was called something different. Amy used the same one. Great. Okay, so check this out. Some of you maybe have seen this. In the link below, there's a collection of all my pictures. So behind this truck, I'll show you. Let's start low. They've marked all the great floods. So look, 1988, 5 meters, 39. 82, 6 meters. Getting up to 7 meters. And to give you context of how crazy the 1910 one was, it's all the way up there, 8 meters, 62. I put that into feet for any Americans watching. I think it's 28 or something. I wrote it in the blog post. But then when we wind back, look, it's higher than the truck. So now you got the reference point. This would have been so entirely submerged around here. It would have been crazy, crazy. When we get out onto the quay, the quayside, the riverside, what do we call it in English? There's going to be more pictures showing the bridges, but that's one of the coolest markers. Plus, it's not like the other one. Okay, you guys are talking about boat rides. There's nothing I need to answer there, I think. But I will walk because we're going to go on a little bridge. Incidentally, Paris is a fantastic city to cycle. When I first moved here in 2015, I cycled an awful lot around the city, and it was kind of dangerous, and I wouldn't have recommended it to people. Then I got the scooter, so the next 5 or 6 years I was just cruising along, and now that the scooter's gone and I'm back on bicycles, the city has changed so dramatically, and they've made it so much better for cyclists, so many cycling lanes, that I would confidently recommend it to anyone who's halfway capable on a bicycle. It's that good. Now, I never walked down this way. I've never ever walked down this way, even to look at it, but I imagine there'd be more flood markers there. But given that it's cobblestones, and given we got plenty of distance to cover, we're not going to do it today. Now, as we walk, I'm going to have a little look at some of the comments. 85 people watching. Great stuff, guys. The floodiest spot in all of Paris, says Lucy. Hi, Lucy. Lynn says bonjour from Hawaii. I saw San Antonio watching. All right, I'm up to date with the comments. What time is it in Hawaii, Lynn? Here we go. This is cool. I've shared this on some of the like secrets of Paris things that I've done. This little passage piéton, foot passage, to give you access to the Seine. I think a lot of people maybe don't know about it. Oh, cool. We got someone watching from Iran. That's not every day. Anyone else from around the world, San Francisco. I think I'll just gently cruise downhill on the bike. I bet a lot of people haven't been down here. And I honestly think this could be one of the coolest places in Paris if they put a little bit of, like, could you imagine if they had little cafes, or I don't know, like if they got rid of, check, I think it was the metro. I think this could be just such a cool area. At the moment, like, I feel you maybe wouldn't want to come here at night. It's kind of dark, and maybe there's some people drinking in the corners or sleeping rough. Maybe it would be perhaps unsavory for people who are more comfortable around the 7th arrondissement or the Marais. But I think this has got such potential, especially when you come out here to the Seine. And not just the Seine, but we should get a view of Notre Dame. There it is. There's no point in me zooming. Oh, I'll do it anyway. I know you guys love Notre Dame, but we'll get a way closer look at it later. But this is a good place to stop because here's the wall. That's about how tall I am, maybe there. And then look, right up there. So for scale, there's a car. So it's like at least 2.5 cars deep, maybe. Now we go towards the bridges and the islands. We're gonna go across both islands. If it's gonna get really windy and it's just impossible for you to hear me, let me know. I can put in the earphones or the ear pods or whatever they're called, AirPods, and I imagine the sound will be way better. But then the microphone will be way closer to me and you'll be able to hear me struggling on the bicycle. Oh, I think you guys will love this. Over there on the left bank, I can hear it. They're doing, they often have live dancing. People dancing, doing all kinds of salsa and rumba and stuff. A really lovely walk on that side too. Let's just get past these people. Is it dead in August now? Said someone. Yeah, and I like it. A lot of the things are closed, so shops and bakeries and museums and people that you want to interview aren't at work. So some things are a little bit tricky, but for the most part, I think August is fantastic in Paris. I usually try and stay here for it. This is going to be a really lovely cycle walk. Thanks for joining me on it, everybody. It'd be kind of weird if no one was here for it, wouldn't it? It'd just be me cycling, talking to myself. I guess I am anyway. Look, here's where the boats turn around before they head back towards the Eiffel Tower. This is about as far as you get on those tourist boats. Let's see if we can look at the boat and the people dancing in the background. You probably can't even tell online, but just above the boat, they're watching some kind of live music. If they go underneath us on a bridge or something, we'll give them a wave. But for now, we get back to the first ever cycle walk show where the host might fall in the Seine. God, that would make some great content if I fell in. Almost worth doing on purpose. There's a band on there, I think. Okay, this is one of the loveliest parts of Paris too. I think a lot of people miss this walk that I'm cycling. So lovely. Look, there's that first view of the Eiffel as well. 10 points to me. Let's get a zoom in. You see it already? I'll stop and read some comments as I stop. Oh, now I'm going to cycle past police while filming. Let's see how we go. right, next postcard situation coming up here for this bridge. First, we'll just make sure we get past the people safely. And I'm walking. I think she was talking to me. I wasn't paying attention. Next flood picture. Here we go. I'm gonna get off. Yeah. So, look at this. Okay. It does look a bit like you're trying to fall in the water. How do you bike so close to the edge? I'm a seasoned cyclist. Don't worry about me. Now, I was kidding. I'm not actually going to purposely fall in. This is Ile Saint-Louis. This is the Pont du Sully. This is where I went fishing for that big fish on one of the episodes. I started right up there. And we'll go and take a closer look from the bridge. But here's a different kind of marker at the top of that, this thing. You won't really be able to see it, but 1910, it's written in stone. We'll go take a closer look. But look at this. Closer look first. The water is right up to the top. Probably to where the bottom of that red and white sign is up there. And look, it's the exact same angle. You can see all the same. I'll see if we can show them both at the same time. Oh, Ellie. People waiting for me to film. That's very kind. Cool, huh? That's insane. Insane. And to help put it into perspective, I've got another picture to show, but I'll show it when we get up on the... to put it in perspective, we'll be able to go up and see it. There you go. What I was talking about. Here we go. Marker around it. There is, I remember. Another little context marker. It's one of those little circular ones. And honestly, I think there must be hundreds of these that I haven't seen. But there's also dozens that I have seen. Make it easy to show you. It's quite like, it's really, you know, it's not in your eye line as you're walking to look up behind a tree to see a flood marker. I mean, if you're gonna look at this wall, you maybe glimpse at the Pont de Sully sign, and then just hidden up there behind the branches, an indication of such a fascinating event in the natural history of this city. And then, if you guys haven't seen the stuff that I've been writing about it, and some are written on the walls, some are... There's one in the conciergerie, which we're not going to get into because we'd need to buy a ticket, but where Marie Antoinette was imprisoned. Like, they're really all over the place. I mean, I'm sure there'll be one up here somewhere. But we've kind of done this bit. And look, the Paris Plage is those green, those blue umbrella tops. And we go uphill. Bear with me. Autumnal feeling. But I think it's only because it's been so hot that a lot of the leaves died. It feels too early for the leaves to be falling off. Hey, look at this, we got over 100 people watching. Flood markers are the new invader, says Lucy. You might be right. I like it. You know what I like about it? I'll tell you when I get off the bicycle. I should really concentrate. Look at this. How'd that get there? Do you think someone just stores their book there to read it when they come and sit over the edge? So for you guys who've heard that episode with me in Fred fishing. This is where we started at like 6 in the morning, casting baguettes, warm baguettes off the edge of this bridge and looking for the big one. We didn't get it. So beautiful around here. Aha, cool, looks like they're filming something. We might get to see a film set. First things first, flood markers. I'll walk across here. All right. Now, I'm gonna actually cross over here to Kid Betoon to show something cool. I'm gonna continue down that way, but first, 1910. Right up, there's a measurement. I can't quite read the numbers on them. 34 is at the top. 34 feet? That could be 34 feet. David Dubois misses Paris terribly. Oh, I'm glad to bring you here. This is, has anyone been up to the top of this? I'm extremely curious. It looks like a restaurant. If so, send me a message. No. Let's cross over again. Easy does it. Oh, the sun's coming out. I can see it on the other side of the street. See, who said cycling was difficult in Paris? If you can do it with a stabilizer in one hand and a basket hanging off the side of the bicycle while trying to film flood markers, it must be an easy city. Okay, I got another postcard coming up. What might be cool is if we could find exactly where the photo was taken. I hadn't prepared this one, but when I was printing out the postcards just before, I recognized the beautiful doorway and I figured we should come check it out. Maybe we'll find a new flood marker. Wait for the taxi. He's turning in. Also, here's a fun thing I noticed about this road. Is this wall, the side of this wall, dips so dramatically. I wonder if you can see, if I hold the camera up, it dips so dramatically to that point there. It's far from even. And if you stand on the other side and look at it, I think you can even kind of see it here, then it goes up again. And I never figured out why, but I like it. Okay, next picture. Here, look at this. And this is also where it's revealed that I stuck them onto a cereal box after when I did the Bièvre River video and I tried to show A4 pieces of paper. Okay, so you see the water, you see, it's kind of hard to see. The water is essentially at the same height on both sides of the stone wall. And I think, if it's not, is it this door? Is it the next door? Either way, it's this street because you can see the spire of Notre Dame in the background and the two, what do you call them? The facade of it. And if we just get up to this little bit, we see Notre Dame again. Maybe actually it's the next doorway along. Yeah, it could be the next doorway along. Who knows? Now, onto the other side. Also, oof. Also, just to show how high up we are from the water edge, we'll take a little peek over the edge. All right. Now we head to the other side, the north side. These doors are amazing. Look at this. Now we head to the other side of Ile Saint-Louis and then on towards Ile de la Cité, where the Notre Dame is. And then we'll see if you guys can convince me to keep going beyond there. I plan to. But you have to like the video and comment and say how much you're enjoying it, all that kind of stuff. Also then when on YouTube videos, when there's lots of activity, likes and comments and so on, then it gets recommended to other people. That's why I say it too. I see there's 44 likes, even though we've had over 100 people. The math doesn't add up. Left up here. I'm glad I brought the bike. If I had been walking, we'd probably still be down in the Arsenal de l'Arsenal. Here comes the next one. See if you can spot it. You ready? Ready? The Emily in Paris flood marker. Was this mentioned on Emily in Paris? Look at those clouds. Ooh, it's chasing us. So whenever you see these, you know, in Australia we call them witches' hats. And I realize no one else probably does. Conical road markers. Whenever you see these around Paris, I'll give you a tip. See if you can find a piece of paper. We've already passed one, but there's usually several. And they're stuck on the walls and the light poles and stuff. And it says what they're working on. This is the name of the movie usually. It says when they're going to be filming, when people should move their cars. And when there's cars parked behind like that one, it means the filming probably hasn't happened yet. Let's take a look. Good chasseurs there. Kongsback cones, says Britta. Maybe that's what they call where you are, Britta. I never heard of that before. Kongsback cones. Look, the series, the Comte de Monte Cristo. We'll be filming here from 8th to 9th of August, from 7 in the morning till midnight, on all these roads mentioned here. And then usually it says the name of the director and the people that are going to be working on it. Although when they're doing big movies, like if they're doing Mission Impossible or something, they don't say Mission Impossible because that would just draw in the crowds. But the Comte de Monte Cristo, that sounds... Have anyone seen that? Look, Perry Plage, Blue Brothers. They set this stuff up in the summer. So yeah, this whole street, look. This whole street, they're going to get rid of the cars. They're probably going to oldify it. That's a verb, isn't it? They're going to oldify the street. I mean, they don't really have to do much if you look at it. But, you know, they'll paint over or they'll hide the parking meters and that kind of stuff. Sometimes they take down all the signs. They'll bring in old cars, typically. It's a really fun time to be around. And you know, I mentioned it on Instagram the other day. I saw them, they were working on it just a little bit further up on the Ile Saint-Louis. And they were turning all the facades into olden time facades. And I started to take a picture and the guy came and started telling me off. And it was so weird. I said to him, I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean I can't take a picture? It's in the public. It's right there. And he goes, nah, I agree with you, but you know, you can't do it. And I said, well, what do you think? Who do you think I'm, the Figaro newspaper or something? What do you think? What am I gonna spoil the secret? And he said, yeah, you're right. Actually, go and take a picture. So it's a classic example. There's some people who say in France, a no doesn't necessarily mean a no. It can mean convince me. And read into that story however you want. But I got the photo and I shared it. If anything, maybe it's getting people excited for the Comte de Monte Cristo or whatever they're filming. Now we'll all watch it. Okay, more movies for the people just joining us. By the way, whole different walk. We'll be coming around here and showing you the names of the people who lived on this street alone. Like, so many famous names from history. So many like Nobel Prize winners and so on. It could be a real great walk in itself. I haven't done any research on those, so we won't stop. This is what they were changing the day that I was here. Where was I planning to go from here? That way, but we'll take a little swing this way because it's so lovely. Another one of the loveliest walks you can do around here. Sound alright with all this wind? Can you guys hear me? We'll take a little look at the view. I think it's only fair. So now's a good time to point out the river floods pretty much every year, but often it's imperceptible. But some years, like in 2016, I was standing right here and the water came up, I think what it must have been at least 2 feet, 3 feet, a meter up that lamppost, and off the edge there is a big drop. Like it's at least the height of me, and like all these benches were underwater, the bins were underwater, and it was cool. And like I said it before, it's like one of my favorite kind of natural disasters. If no one's getting hurt, the Seine River, which is usually such a passive background part of Paris, you know, a lot of people take pictures of, like I've done it before, take pictures of this beautiful shot, and the Seine is like a border to it. Like, it's rare that you come and actually take pictures of the Seine. But when it floods, everybody suddenly changes to being fascinated by it. And people are coming out and talking about it and taking pictures, and, you know, everybody comes out. People trying to sell things, people trying to pick each other's pockets. You know, it feels like it's olden times again. And I loved it. I was down here every day. But the point is, in that year, 2015 or 16, it was just so nothing compared to this great flood. Like, not even in the realm of being near to it. Just getting your ankles wet when you're walking on those bits. Whereas, you're going to see another sign in a second, everyone would have been way underwater before. Like, there's the Pantheon in the background. And we're coming up towards the Notre Dame. So we're going to go that way. But first we're going to go this way. Notre Dame, they say they're going to have at least part of it open in time for the Olympics. I think they got a lot of work to do. I would be surprised. If you want my thoughts, and I'm no expert on this at all, but I imagine they'd open the front, you know, the front room you walk into, and maybe you can get a fair way of the way in, but I cannot imagine this scaffolding will all be gone in a year. I just can't believe it. I refuse to believe it. I've tried to get the mayor of the 4th on the show again to talk about it, but he's too busy. He became the mayor of the 3rd, 2nd and 1st as well. He's a quadruple man now, and I don't think he has time for the Eiffel Tower. So I'll keep trying. He's a good guest. So someone was asking about what streets we're on. This is the hardest one to pronounce if you ask me. The Pont de l'Archevêché. Pont de l'Archevêché. Who knows? Nobody knows. Now, this is a really similar boat to the one that I took, the Bateau Français. It's not the same, but it kind of looks like that one. So if you want to splash out, there's the Bateau Français kind of style one. That's what you get. But we're here for 1910. So remember before I said how high the water was coming when I was here, 2016. That was, I mean, by comparison, it was probably like there or here maybe. So it's just monstrously different. And if you find yourself walking along any of the bridges like this, you often can see these flood markers. That's the second one we've seen. I know there's more of them. And I like the way they put in that really deep set engraving on the stone. Ooh. Now, back this way. What do you guys think? You think that Notre Dame will be open for the Olympic tourists? What is it, August next year? August 2024? There's some bells, church bells in the background. Not likely to be the Notre Dame. We hope. Yeah, I think it would just be a bit as open. That's the most logical. But when you see that, it means the police are on horseback around here. Not just some giant dog. Horseback police. Look at these beautiful doors. Oh my goodness me. Look at this, hang on. The old habitation, the old home of Eloise and Abelard. 1118. That is crazy. It can't be the same building, of course. No, it can't be the same building. But this isn't an Eloise and Abelard tour, but look it up if you want to read some almost Shakespearean romantic story. And there is the city hall, the town hall, Hôtel de Ville, one of my favorite buildings. And I just joined the library there, which is up there somewhere. Totally worth doing and easy to do. Now, let's be smart here. Park the bike. Bear with me, folks. So this building's cool. the bike almost fell over. Whew. Let's be sensible here. All right. First is this medieval building. Super unusual. If someone steals from my bike, they're not gonna get much. So check this out. And then we've got the name of the street. Look, they've got that J'existe for you guys who are long-time fans of my show. That's what I talked about with the crocodile lady. J'existe. So Rue des Chantres and Rue des Ursins. And there's our next flood marker. And what's cool, super cool, this picture's terrible. So the quality's like exceptionally bad, but the important thing is you can see there's the same street sign where my thumb is. This used to be a hotel up here. It's a hotel, I looked it up before, Hotel 2 something. But in this picture you can see the spire of Notre Dame, added by Viollet-le-Duc, who gets a shout out in tomorrow's podcast episode, but now obviously burned down in the fire, and there's just scaffolding. So this picture, and obviously the water, these wooden parts are like walkways that they made over the water, which you can see is, I don't know, shoulder height for me or head height for some people. Awesome picture. Back up to the bike. All right, now's the point where you guys have to convince me. Do we keep going across the river, or have you had enough? What pictures have I showed? I can't believe it, says David Dubois. Just posted the exact same picture when I was there in 2020. That is unbelievable. I can't believe it either. What pictures have I showed? Okay, the question is, do we go for a ride or not? Let's see what the comments have to say about the matter. What are we doing? 46 minutes. More flood or flooded out? quiet audience today. I'll take that as a wind it up, Oliver. Wind it up. I'm losing interest, Oliver. Everybody goes quiet. Up around the corner is the conciergerie where Marie Antoinette was imprisoned. And if you, I didn't bring my pictures, but there's a link. There's a link below in the description where I've shared all the pictures of the flood markers, and you can see what it looks like in that museum, up on the wall, like above head height. You gotta imagine the prisoners were in there at that time. Oh, now the comments are starting to come in. Maybe they just paused for a second. More flood, keep going. Oh, okay, yeah, I think the comments broke, because now we're getting flooded with comments. All right, here's what I'll tell you. After the conciergerie, which is up ahead, the next big famous museum has got to be the Musée d'Orsay, and that's where there's another big flood marker. So I vote we head that way. Maybe I should cycle along the Seine, that would be smart. Let's think this through. How do I get down there from here? I'm on the island. I want to go on the other side. Yes. That's a bad idea. Cycle past the police station with a stabilizer. So on my left, Hotel Dieu, which you can sort of go into the lobby of it. You can sneak inside even further, but it's also a functioning hospital. So maybe you shouldn't. But if you're feeling really daring and you promise that you didn't say it was me that told you to do it, you can walk right through and up to the top floor, up beyond those chimneys, and take a really exceptional picture of the Notre Dame from a view that most people don't see. Okay, we passed the police station. Well done, everybody. Pause at the red light. Take a look at the facade. Let's do it properly. Look at that, just in time for everybody. The sun setting in the face of the Notre Dame. So you can get quite close to it now. And they've built, I'm not gonna go and show it on this walk now, but where I'm pointing, they've built like a sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, like seating, tiered seating, just a wooden tiered seating thing for maybe 150 people or something like that. And so you can get a really uninterrupted view of everybody else's head. Here you go, you can kind of see it better now. That's quite new. And this is where I went up to take the picture of Notre Dame, and it was snowing, and someone got in contact with me and they're like, we want to put your photo in a book. And I said, all right. And now it's in a book. It's a published photo. So Shakespeare and Company over there. Let's not push it. Busy around here. I was talking about bike lanes before. Look at this. This wasn't here. In fact, on Paris on Air, the book I wrote, I remember writing about when I got the scooter. So this is in 2020, I think I published it. And there's a bit in there that I talk about the best road to cycle down on a scooter. And this was one of the roads that I mentioned. And it's because it was all for cars back then. And so it flowed really smoothly and you could really get to the other side of the town uninterrupted and quickly. And now they've, you know what? We should stop here. Oh. What was I saying? Yeah, now they've made it for bikes, which I love. I think it's great. But it's not good for scooting anymore. I don't have a scooter anyway, but it's not anywhere near as fast as it used to be. So, now they probably won't like me filming this, but I want to show you the postcards. We'll see if we can find a flood one. So there's been a few questions. Let's see, look at this. Why the booking is closed on Sundays or for August, probably for August, and some of them are open. That one's open. They're never all open, almost ever. Riding a bike scares me. I got clipped last summer. Oh, I'm sorry to hear it. The Shakipesh Passage where I catfished. Yeah, we just passed that just down there. Really narrow street. Any more questions? What place is this where you went on the rooftop? Did you say it's accessible? Says Janet. It's called the Hotel Dieu, like God, and it's a hospital, and it's not really open to public. I think the public can go into the entry, the lobby, and look at you can look at like the gardens or something. But if you go further than that, they'll yell at you. So it's not open to the public. But I said if you dare, there are bits that you can sort of go into, and I don't really care. I think. All right, no more questions. Let's have a look at these postcards. Not quite. Flood. Thing is, that's a nice one. Must be from a hot air balloon. All right, we can't just sit looking at the vintage postcards, but hang on. So those postcards are all €1 each, and I would say, I would wager if we kept doing that for, if I had two hands and wasn't filming, I bet I could have found a flood one in about a minute. There are a lot of them. The flood happened at a time that these postcards were extremely popular. Quite a lot of traffic. I want to get down by the Seine. It's quite a lot of traffic because the lights are broken. They're just all flashing orange. So no one knows what to do, including me. Also, it's, what time is it? I don't even know what time it is. It must be 7 p.m. So a lot of the Buccaneers, look, this guy's closing here. They're closing up. They're all closing up because it's the end of the day here. So in terms of the flood markers, we could go in all these streets and look on all the walls, and we'd probably find dozens of them, even on these walls, even on the other side of these walls. But then we'd be out here for 50 hours, and we might not find any of them. So I'll stick with the ones that I know. We're heading towards the Musée d'Orsay. Here's La Perouse restaurant. Really fancy, extremely interesting history. Like, it's ancient. There's all these stories about, what was it, that the men would take their mistresses there and offer them, what would it be made out of, diamond rings? And they'd could it be diamond? And they'd scratch the diamond rings in the mirror to see if they were real. Is that right? And when you look on the mirrors, I've been in there a couple times, I've looked at the mirrors, they're scrawled with people's names, allegedly testing diamonds. Does that sound right? I feel like I heard that story years ago and maybe retold it incorrectly. But look, easy facts, expensive dinner, but a very memorable one. More bouquinists, booksellers. Look at these bike lanes, it's great. It's like almost bigger than one of the traffic lanes. Hey, the other thing, when we were talking about the postcards, I'm a big fan of those vintage postcards as tourist sort of souvenirs. Because when you come to Paris, it's really easy to buy a little, I don't know, Eiffel Tower keychain or something much bigger that just takes up space in your luggage. Whereas you can get, I don't know, you get 10 of those postcards for 10 euros and keep them as little mementos, or send them to your friends and they look awesome. It's really windy. Corners are under construction. They're getting rid of those wall blocks. I bet there's a flood market here. Institut Français. Who cares? Come on. Remember I told you these things mean they're doing movies? In this case, it looks like they're doing sewerage. Don't get too excited. See, look how much space there is for bikes here. Massive on this side, then in the middle too. They're really making it a bike-friendly city. Can you guys still hear me with all the wind? These ones are all still open. Paris on there. Funny I'm talking about it so much when I think it's almost impossible to get a copy now. This is the bridge where it starts. Pont du Carrousel. If you read it, you know. If you haven't read it, you might never know. Cross. Read some comments while we go along this bit. If you went left now, that's heading towards Montparnasse, right? Exactly right, Janet. But it's not exactly close either. On a bike, 25 minutes to get there. We're gonna get off this main street in a second. Will there be a second book? Yes. Look at that car. Oh, maybe you won't see it behind the taxi. Shame. Gosh, this would have taken forever to walk. Lucky you guys convinced me to keep going. And lucky I brought the bike. Whew. In the distance, the Grand and the Petit Palais. On the left, the Musée d'Orsay. Once a train station. Now a museum, there it is. It's so good children's books. Tour Eiffel on the way there, but we're definitely not going to go there today. It's too far. I also got to cycle back to where we started. Don't forget about that. But we're going to turn left after the museum. Loud music, let's see what's happening. More kids' books? Yes. The magic of Paris, huh? Okay, here's the thing. These guys here in their cars, as far as I know, rip off. And they try and scam me a little bit. Now maybe I'm painting with a very broad brushstroke there, but I've seen it happen a couple of times, and it just wasn't pretty. It was like they tell you it'll be 15 euros or 30 euros, and then when you get there, they say, okay, that's 60. And they go, what? You go, I said 30 euros is per customer. Things like that. Okay, I'll tell you a funny story while I'm standing here. I didn't plan to tell you this story. But when during the lockdown, we were staying in the 7th, this district where we are now, and it was always this empty. I mean, you couldn't even see these little people in the corner. It was just totally empty. And then I remember one day I came here and there were some tourists standing right where we are, and he was taking a picture of his friend pointing to the testicles of the rhino. And I remember thinking, when I saw that, it made me so happy, because it had been like, what was it, years? At least a year. Or just ages without seeing people. Like, it was just Parisians who are quite sensible and don't take pictures of rhino testicles. That emoji of a rhino that someone sent just got blocked, and they warned me about it. It looked alright to me. Yeah, Parisians are quite sensible with these things. They don't take pictures of each other with the statues because they've seen it all before, or maybe they're just, I don't know, sensible people, who knows. But these guys were just having the time of their life, and it made me really happy. It made me really happy to see, because it made me feel that things were getting back to normal in Paris. So every time I pass by that rhino, I like to tickle his... No, I'm just kidding. I like to look at it and think, oh, isn't that nice? This is, by the way, where I do my, when I do the deliveries to the Musée d'Orsay for our children's books. It's down through there. You go down underground, it's awesome. What did I just see there? Seabay, really enjoying your bike stream. Thanks, we definitely will try biking during our upcoming trip. Thanks so much for that super chat as well, that's super kind. Maybe I should do more bike tours. But I appreciate that, thanks. I'll make sure, as always, it gets pumped back into the local economy. Maybe we'll spend it on Musée d'Orsay tickets. Now, there's something up here, if I can remember where it is. This is a cool one coming up. This way. Up on the sidewalk. It's quiet enough, we'll get away with it. This, I love this one. You know what? It was kind of this one that got me interested in sort of finding more of these, because it's so different to all the other ones. It's just painted on the side of this door, Crue de la Seine, Flood of the Seine, 28th of January. Same on this side too. And look, you can see next to a bike how high it was. And it's at the Academy of Agriculture of France. I don't know what's inside. Nothing. I just peeked inside. But it's a really cool example of how hidden away. Look at this extremely lovely entrance. Let's zoom in. Really cool example of the hidden things in Paris that you maybe would never notice if you were to just walk past. Susan Moore says 28th of January is our wedding anniversary. I wouldn't dare to guess how old you are, Susan Moore, but I can imagine it wasn't 1910 your anniversary. In the conciergerie as well, they've got the date 28th of January. But I think the point of this, why I drove out here and showed this, is that, like, hello again. The thing that I really like about it is when you start sort of collecting obscure things, kind of like invaders, like Lucy said before, is it lets you see this city that I know a lot of you guys know really well, that I know really well. It lets you see it with new eyes. And so if you have walked down this street, you go onto the Musée d'Orsay hundreds of times, and then suddenly you come around the area looking for flood markers, and you're looking at a certain level, like hip level or whatever, you find yourself really exploring in a different way and taking things that you maybe taken for granted, like, I mean, kind of ordinary entrances like this at hip height that you maybe wouldn't have thought about. And suddenly you're like, oh cool, it's connected to the old historical story. Same thing happened with the Arago line markers that I did a few episodes back, the Bièvre River, and there was another one. There's been another one that I've sort of looked into, or maybe that's for an upcoming episode, but it's a really fun sort of way of seeing the city, so I can highly recommend. I know some of you guys have done it with invaders and stuff like that, but there's so many different ones. Or maybe you get really into the mascarons, they're called, that are up on some of the doorways. Anyway, what I was thinking, I don't know how far it is to cycle, but it would be really fitting to cycle to the Zouave statue. I think I could probably do it in 5 or 10 minutes, and to show where people always sort of rank how high the flood is. Though because I'm not, because I haven't got the ability to shut this window and look at the map, there's a chance I'm really wrong, and that it would actually take me ages to get anywhere near Pont de Alma, I think. I've also got a postcard or a picture of it, so I can show you. But the question is it worth it? Would you like me to do it? Someone do it on, someone put on Google Maps how long it takes to cycle from Musée d'Orsay to Alma, Pont de l'Alma maybe. It must be 5 minutes. Oh, it's easy for all you guys to say yes. You're not cycling. I'll wait for someone to tell me. Travel with Laughter says yes. That's the first time I've seen Travel with Laughter. What a happy name. Short ride, says Gina. No, give me some facts, Gina. Give me some facts. I want some facts. So I'll tell you, when I deliver to 8 minutes, all right, okay, we'll do it. This is when I deliver to the Musée d'Orsay, and they just ordered some more books, actually. I ring this little bell, and they say, who is it? And I say it's Oliver G from the Eiffel Tower, and they go, okay, come in. It's all these big trucks and uninterested truck drivers. And then on a bicycle or a scooter, I go down here, they open the double doors, it's like a submarine. And then I go, I cycle through this huge long tunnel under the d'Orsay, Musée d'Orsay. And all these trucks down there, it's huge. And then I just pop in on a bike and they all sort of laugh. And I come in and I give them a box of books and cycle out again. And it's just a really lovely little experience, and I love doing it. Southport Dawn says, your tours are much better than those non-verbal walking tours. Thanks, that's a kind thing to say. Southport, I bet you're left-handed, Don. What else have we got? I saw another comment. No comment from Michelle Schiffbauer. She puts a hippo falling over. Well, yep, it's kind of you too. Let's go for 8 minute cycle. If I can get down by the water, it'll be even quicker. But I need to find a ramp. No traffic on the road. You guys got any questions? Maybe now's a good time that I give myself a shout out. If you guys, there's a chance that all 98 of you guys are Patreon members. But if you're not, this whole show survives and exists because of Patreon members. So many of the names that have popped up, I know you guys are members and you keep these wheels rolling. But that's how the show doesn't have ads. uninterrupted by ads. That's how everything that's related to this show that I do that costs money, hiring people or whatever, that's through Patreon. So if you like this stuff and you want to see it thrive and you want to contribute, consider it. The link is below, patreon.com/the Eiffel Tower. You sign up for just a month, sign up for a year, get 2 months for free, sign up forever. It's going to making this better. And I like to think that with the years the show's got a lot better. Past the ramp, someone said. It's okay, we've got a bike path. Though because the river curves, it's probably better that I'm on the other side of the river at some point. Maybe I'll take the next bridge. Emily Victor says, Oliver, should do something with the Tim Traveler. He lives in Paris, I think. I've seen that guy on YouTube before. He does cool stuff. Maybe I'll reach out to him. Though at the moment on the podcast, we're going through the alphabet. Any guesses what G is for tomorrow? Seems we've got 8 minutes to chat with each other. What's coming up next week? What's coming up? What is G? Deb says she was a member, but due to illnesses, she had to stop supporting. That's okay. Only support if you can. That's all I ask. Check out this beautifully redone Assemblée Nationale. Pristine. Okay, green light. This is easily the most physical work that's ever gone into a walking, well, it's not a walking, is it? A cycling show for the Eiffel Tower. After playing 3 hours of basketball today, what am I doing? Maria Trenzado's here. Hello, look, there's another ramp. Question, do I go down it? I don't think so anymore. I think we stay up. Eiffel Tower. Okay, now we have a look at some of these comments. G is for Giverny, Grand Palais. G himself. I'm scrolling. Garnier. These are great guesses. Please tell Lena hello. Okay, Lena, hello if you're watching. Fan of the books. I was thinking garden, but Guimard sounds like a good guess from Jody. More Guimard, says Jody Beam. Down here, a really nice little bars for a drink. You can watch a concert there too. I vote across the Pont Alexandre-Trois. The most beautiful bridge in the city. And there's a flood marker down there, I just remembered. So we get a bonus. And there's the Eiffel Tower. Wood zoom. I've only got one hand. To the left, Invalides, where Napoleon is buried. To the right, beautiful old bridge. Kim hopes it's gargoyles. I'll tell you one thing, guys. There's so many possibilities that I could easily do this alphabet season again with all new topics. Maybe I will one day. Okay. Check this out. Unexpected stop. I didn't think I'd be coming here. Okay, look at this. So, firstly, this is where I saw a concert. I think it's called Flow. They got a downstairs area, really cool. That's Rosa Bonheur, part-time gay bar, part-time bar for everybody. I think it's always a bar for everybody, to be honest. And then you see how deep it is. So first, the water is significantly deep. Like, if you hung off the edge of this with your fingers, your feet might not touch the water. But, so we're already a couple meters up. And then you start going up some of the steps. There's the 1910. Look how high above his head it is. Guinguettes is another good guess. France with Vero says, Coucou Ali, bonjour all. Hi, France with Vero, aka Vero. Lucy says she thinks it's Gustave Eiffel. I don't think so, given what E was. Otherwise, I can't reveal anything. Can't reveal a thing. But I will tell you, as a little thank you. Oh, the camera's out of control. What does this mean? Okay, it's back in control. Windy. I can tell you this. Oh, it's so windy here. Okay, we need to get off this bridge. Oh no. Okay. What's happening? The battery's still going to turn it on and off. Bear with me. There you go. That exact same thing happened when I was doing a walk show with the Australian ambassador, and I panicked and I couldn't fix it, and it just kept spinning like it was possessed. Luckily, when I do it like this by myself, it doesn't matter. Now we're on the Pont Alexandre III. I was halfway through saying something, totally forgot. Doesn't matter. Ah, no. What, they closed all this off? Oh, maybe I need to go over the next bridge. Let's not take a gamble. Let's not take a gamble. No gambles, no gambles. Stay on this side. Kim Cox points out, you are so close to Rue Claire now. Nothing to do with the floods, but I love it. Me too, although I think I probably overdid Rue Claire in recent years when I lived there. So there's no way we're going there today. Back onto the bike lanes. Someone asked if it was Brendan or Gillian, the ambassador. It was Brendan. To give you an idea of how long I've been doing the walk shows. You can see when I did the first walk show, it was with, who was it with? It was with the company Set in Paris. Set in Paris, they did movie tours, and I did it on Facebook, and I didn't have a stabilizer. I just had what do they call it, selfie stick. And it was so long back. If you see how many people do sometimes fantastic walk shows now, you'll see how long ago it was and how much I was trying to keep ahead of the technology, for better or for worse. But I mean, really, it was like 6 years ago or something. Will they stop for me? Will they stop for me? That guy almost drove into me, and then I just looked at him and pointed to the green light, and he nodded in apology. Now let's go down and see what happens. Is this a good bit to go down? Yeah. Emily Victor, I'd pay for a trivia night again, by the way, this time live. Alright, what will you pay? What will you pay? I'll do it. I'll do it for €1. Trivia. Ooh, trivia. Oh, maybe. I think maybe I've used up all my trivia knowledge. Jody would pay €1,000. All right, 1,010 from Jackie. All right, now it's suddenly really worth it. I went really low with that €1, didn't I? All right, we'll make it happen. Maybe we save them for special events. How about that? I think that would be fun. Carl says, someone stop Jody. Someone stop Jody. I was down here once, somewhere here. And you know what's cool? I'll tell you about doing these live walks or cycles, especially as I haven't done them for so long and I've never done one around here. It's just how many stories I've got from exploring Paris for 8 years. And I sort of don't really even realize until I'm live for an hour and 20 minutes with only myself to talk to. So maybe it's time to bring back these walks. I think it is time to bring back these walks. Or cycles. Oof. Who said 8 minutes? They tricked me. You all tricked me. So this, get this. This used to be, hang on. Whoa, are we here? No one tricked me. We are. Okay. I'm gonna go up the stairs. I'm gonna lock the bike and go up the stairs. No one tricked me. Or maybe I'll carry the bike up the stairs. Let's have a look. Let's have a look how many stairs there are. Oh, I think we can do it. You guys will have to watch the ground for a bit. Oh. There, the sewer museum. There, the Eiffel Tower. Here, more steps. Unfair. Okay, let me take a pause and get my breath back. I even bought a drink. Not an alcoholic drink. I'm trying to locate my last postcard. There it is. Okay. Gosh, if you just joined, we haven't looked at one of these for a while. This is the Pont de l'Alma, A-L-M-A, and I'll be able to zoom in, but there's a character there, the Zouave, and people will say that this guy, it's a soldier from somewhere, North Africa, I think, or a French soldier in North Africa. I didn't think we'd cycle this far, so I didn't remember. I didn't look it up. But when the river floods, people see how high the water's coming on him. You might be able to see that he's discolored from some of the floods in the past. Now, we talked about the 2016 flood when I was here, and I think it was up to about the same part that I showed you of the rhino. There's a reward for anyone who's been watching for more than 20 minutes. Now he's around maybe below his hip. But in the 1910 floods, the topic of today, it went right up by his neck. How do I know that? This is the same bridge, except they're standing on the other side. So I'll finish this walk on the other side of the river. But there is the Zouave. And you can, even if you can't see it on this camera, you can see how high the water is on the bridge. Also, the bridge has changed as well, hasn't it? The bridge has changed. They changed it from a stone bridge to this iron or whatever it is, but the Zouave hasn't. That's interesting. Ah, we've all learned something. So up to his neck, so up to that high. Let's go look on the other side of the road. And this is where you guys get a chance to write your requests or comments, and I'll read them from the other side. But first, a sip of water. The most famous of four statues is the Zouave, a French light infantryman. Only he remains of the four original statues, says Deb. Very good. I guess there's one on the other side, and then there's probably another leg there. Now, see if I can balance you while I have a drink. Not okay, typical. Can't open. I'm drinking. You guys are writing comments. Frank, I read your mind there, didn't I? This is a good chance while I'm getting my breath back quickly to remind you guys to check out the podcast. There's a new one coming out tomorrow, beginning with G. And a good chance to remind you there's a Patreon link below if you want to see this work thrive, take off like a pigeon. like a pigeon in Paris. Now we cross the bridge, I read your comments, and we're out. Look at the sun setting on the sun hitting the Pont Alexandre. That's an extreme zoom. One more bike lift. Here we go. We can get a look at Old Zouave from above. Shame I'm not still living in the 7th. That'd be really near home. Does anyone want to Google how long it takes to cycle to Bastille from here? I'm just kidding. I'll figure it out. What a lovely evening. I'm glad we did this, guys. This was fun. I think here he comes. There's the Zouave. What a beautiful and intricate statue this one is. I hope you guys can see it too. I can zoom in even further. Such detail, like the detail on his outfit. I guess that's a sword in there. And then the water looked like, these could even be watermarks, but the water came up to around his shoulders. Okay. So in terms of waiting for the next walk show, get on my back. The best way to do it, encourage me. When you see me post things on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, talking about it, tell me you want to see it. And then I know there's an audience ready for it. And I know a lot of you guys do that already. And here's where we're going to finish with the Eiffel Tower in the background. It is a perfect final destination. I agree with you, Carl Beam. I'll tell you what's interesting to me is that whoever took this picture angled it in such a manner that, or maybe it's just too foggy for the Eiffel Tower. There's his head, you see it? Thanks, and now I read your comments, and then I sign off and put away my postcards printed on cereal packages. Let's see. Thank you so much for another lovely evening, Oliver. Thanks, Janet. Ellen Hortorp sends in 20 euros or $20. Thank you so much. As with the other ones, pump it straight back into the local communities. You support me, I support them too. Wanted to see the Zouave last trip and didn't make it, so thanks. Well, my pleasure, Susan. Back to bed for Nadia. This part is undiscovered for me, says Catherine. Don't think I've ever watched a live stream when someone actually carries their bike across Paris. Well done, sir. Thanks, Vero. You helped me get excited for my trip next month. Amy, great that you're coming. And the comments are coming in too quick. Deb, praying for a visit soon. Hope you make it. Gary, happy to be on the trip. Okay. Famous French expression, says Zouave, is to faire le zouave, i.e. to act up, to be silly, like Ollie carrying his bike. There you go. Tu fais le zouave. Alright. Now I leave you guys with that view, and then a slow pan across the Seine, and then I cycle home. And you guys all tune in to tomorrow's episode and enjoy it, hopefully. What a perfect cycle for me to go back home now. And with that, I'll say thanks to you all for watching. Thanks for supporting this show. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whoever you are, Have a lovely evening, Sunday, Monday, or whatever it is for you. I'll be back again. And thanks, Maria. I will go and get a beer. Au revoir, everybody.